SmallBizPro, and so we grow using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And today, Crystal, we're still in the month of April, which is still Financial Literacy Month. And we just want to make sure that all of our listeners and viewers are really taking us up on the tips and strategies, advice that we've shared with them so they can move their business along so they can become financial ready and be able to take on contracts and bigger opportunities in their business.
for sure, and it's so important that, and especially in the day, we're operating in a lot of stuff is going on, and it's so important that businesses get started right and that they have all of their I's dotted and their T's crossed, because business is serious now.
Oh yes. Now the thing is, if small and micro businesses are not up on their game, then they're going to be left behind. So that's one of the things we're trying to do, is to make sure small and micro businesses do not get left behind. So that's why we're providing them with tips, strategies, and advice to coach them along so they can be successful. We don't want whatever happened during the pandemic happen again to small businesses.
Right. We want to make sure everyone is prepared for that, because, and if you're not prepared for the next time, that's on y'all. Because
right.
I tell you, we had an opportunity to turn the clock back, and you were forgiven for some of your sins, such as not having your taxes done. People weren't looking at you with the side eye. They're like, okay, well, let's just get them done. Let's just go find somebody to get them done. So in my opinion, that was a reset button for you.
You know, they say, Crystal, in life, we don't get much of a do-over, especially our group. We don't get do-overs. So when we do get an opportunity to get a do-over, we got to take advantage of it. And that's what happened during the pandemic. You know, we got an opportunity for a do-over. So that's why we're making sure that micro and small businesses are now ready. They have the capabilities, they've got the tools they need in order to advance from this level to the next level, where they're getting contracts and making $300, $400, $500, $1 million.
Exactly. And the other thing, Gilbert, is, I mean, in my history of 25 years actively working in the community, never have there been so many programs out there, free programs, not like insignificant. These programs really were being designed to get you from point A to point D in a very short period of time, and throwing at you all of the expertise and the resources that you need. So this is it. And so for anyone looking to get in business right now, there is no excuse. There is no excuse that you can't find what you need. I'm excited today. We have our guest today. We're family. We know we're connected on our grandfather's side of the family. Not quite sure on his side of the family, but we have the commonality of the Mitchell surname. So we figure we're family. So Chris Horton is coming on today, and he's talking about a program that he has, and I mean, it's just amazing. I've seen it in action. It's amazing what they're working with. He's going to explain all that. Again, another free program, accelerator program, that is looking to help some that startup entrepreneur really position themselves so that they can be successful. So just excited about that.
I think our viewers and listeners need to understand this. There is that saying out there, there's no free lunch. So when you do get exposed to certain programs that you don't have to pay for, you really should take advantage of it, because it's not going to come around again. You're not going to get a second bite at the apple. And that's why we're really trying to get you guys to the point where you're ready. We can elevate you, move you on to the next level so you can start taking advantage of that. And I'm sure our special guest, when he comes on today, he's going to speak to that a lot. And, you know, he's running an accelerator program, so he knows how that is. Accelerator programs usually have businesses that they want to do well, and they're aspiring, they got their vision and their mission. They want to aspire to some level of success, but they just don't quite know the strategies or the tools to use. That's why we're here to help move that along. So I think it's interesting. So, Crystal, for those of our viewers who are just tuning in on YouTube or Facebook, you want to tell them how to tune into our program?
Yes. Hey, Greg. We are streaming live as we speak on Facebook, the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert, the Recycling Black Dollars. We're on Twitter. We're on YouTube right now. And I believe Chris's program can't even get my words right. They're paired in with us as well. So you can just go to our social media platforms and put any information, questions you have in the chat. We actually can physically see them and we will respond. So we have Greg Sneed tuned in. Hey, Greg. We have
Giovanna,
Dr. Giovanna Brasfield. You know her, don't you?
Hey, Giovanna. How are you doing? Dr. Giovanna.
So welcome. Greg came by for refreshments. You want to know where they at?
Hey, Greg, the refreshment is in the green room. Did you get it?
You might not have got the link. But we are talking today, and this kind of falls in line with what we're talking it is Financial Literacy Month, and so it's so important. And Greg shared some information with me yesterday. He did a virtual conference, and Greg, you can put the actual place where you were. He said it looks pretty dark. He didn't want to go in there. But state of California, now this is kind of sad. When financial literacy in the state of California, in comparison to the entire country, we are 34th. And I think why Greg was at the conference, we dropped to 35.
Hey, Greg, it's your fault, man.
He told me we were 34. He said, oops, Crystal, it just dropped to 35. We are ranked 34 in the country when it comes to teaching our children financial literacy. And so, of course, if you don't learn it as a child, by the time he was at the Cal CPA Financial Literacy Update in the schools. And, you know, Greg runs a program, Financial Lifesavers, is for teaching financial literacy. So if you're not learning it in school, you know, by the time you become an adult. Yeah, wow. See, we were 34 place and now we're at 35th place. That's just sad. How you drop a whole point while you're sitting there watching the presentation?
Well, we just got to keep doing our part, man, to keep providing awareness and knowledge to our small, micro, minority, woman-owned, disadvantaged, and veteran-owned businesses, and keep nailing it out there, just putting it out there. Your balance sheet, your profit and loss, your statement of cash flow, your ratios, your gross profit margins, all of those things. We're gonna keep repeating until folks understand what those things mean to their business and why it's important to keep them in order. Crystal, I'm working currently on a video that I'm going to put out there, a business readiness video that I'm going to be launching real soon. So that's part of the reason why I was out of breath earlier, because I'm running. I was reviewing it and checking it out too. So that's going to be a real helpful video for small businesses. So and it's going to be for businesses in business anywhere from 1 to 10 years. So we're going to put it out there. We're going to put the tools, the support, and we're going to do the same thing for loan readiness, finance, cash flow management, and all of those things. So
yeah,
you and I are going to work on a few of these videos as well, because I want you to put your how should I say, your investigative knowledge in this thing to help these small businesses.
not a problem. I did have a couple of highlights this week. I had a young lady that was referred to me by the New Women's Business Center, and she was in the publishing business, and I was asking her why was she referred to me, and she said because she says I went to various resources. She says my last resource was at SCORE, and I was trying to get some input from them, and they really wasn't giving me what I wanted. She went over to the New Women's Business Center, told them what she needed, and they said, "Oh, you need to talk to Crystal."
That's what I'm talking about. That super consultant. That's what I'm talking about.
So I met with her, and we had a fantastic time. Gave her some key pointers. The director and for to find some funding or some opportunities that could help her find the funding that she was looking for. She was happy. Sent me back a nice text saying that it was just an awesome experience, and so that made me feel good. Every week I get a new testimony that really makes me know that I'm doing the right thing. I'm living in my purpose.
Now that's what I'm talking about. We're turning those business no's into yeses. That's what we do here on the Business Zone. And again, the Business Zone is aired every Friday, folks, from 3 to 4 o'clock. And if we have a guest on and the guest is interesting, we'll extend it until 4:30. So check us out on YouTube Live. Check us out on Facebook Live. Or you can simply go to the Business Zone, www.thebusinesszonewithcrystalandgilbert.com. You'll see us live. You'll be able to share your information. We've got a chat there. You can put your questions in, your comments, just like our very good friend, Mr. Greg Sneed, is doing right now. Greg mentioned, he mentions that the state is no longer considering financial literacy. They want to use the phrase financial capability, and I really like that. So
I do too. Long as we make sure we're teaching somebody, whether it's financial, I don't care what words you use. As long as we teaching them how to understand how money works and to be smart about it. I don't care what words you use.
Exactly. Greg said we're turning no's into yeses and yeses into absolutely.
Yeah, that's what we want to do. So that's what you guys find on the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. Between the two of us, without telling our ages, you have over 50 years of experience working with small businesses, micro businesses, and we all have both of us have our specialty. But more importantly, we care. That's
right.
The most important part about it is we care and we want the results. We want you guys to succeed. And so we put our all into it and to make sure that you are successful. So make sure you tune in every week, subscribe, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you come back every week. Because if even we don't have a guest, then Gilbert and I do our own class and session, and you guys are getting free training from us that could cost you quite a bit of money if you actually called us.
That's right.
Set up a coaching session. So take advantage of it while you can.
You know, I want to put this out there to folks who are listening also and viewing. When you're watching a concert and you see two superstars on the stage performing, two superstar singers or rappers or entertainers, if you notice, when they perform together, they perform much better than when they perform by themselves, okay? Because there's something about having two superstars together that brings out the inner gift from each party. And that's what you guys are getting from Crystal and I. You know, you guys are getting those solid type of talents from us. And, you know, we're not holding back. We're not saying, okay, we'll give them 2 points this week and then maybe next week we give them 1. We're giving you guys a full Monty. We're giving you everything. So from the financial side, the bookkeeping, the accounting side, you're getting that, all of that stuff from Crystal. Crystal is giving you all that. From the infrastructure, the business development, the back office capabilities, certifications, and all of that contract and procurement side, you're getting that from me, and you put me and Crystal together. Think about what you guys are getting, man. You guys are getting an amazing array of services. So think about that.
There you go. So before we bring our guest on, because I'm excited about him coming on, I am going to ask you, how was your week?
Oh man, my week. What did I do? Oh, I've been working on certifications for a few of my clients. I'm working on DBE, a certification, a minority certification. They're trying to bid a project with Metro. And I'm also writing an exit strategy for another client who their company's growing right now. So they're excited about doing that exit strategy. So when it gets to the apex, the peak of where they feel they can go, then maybe they'll try to do a transition either through sales, liquidation, acquisition, or something to that effect. So that's what I've been busy working on. Very excited. Oh, and I did some capability statements too for a few of the small businesses over at GLAC. So
okay. I'm that's amazing that they reached out to you to create an exit strategy, because we all know that doesn't normally happen, right?
Oh yeah.
That's very impressive for businesses to look at the full scope. And what the end scope will be. Yeah, that's
what's amazing about that, Crystal? This is a client that I taught in a workshop about 3-4 years ago, and I didn't think he remembered anything I taught him in that class. He called me up out of the blue. Oh, Gilbert, I really need an exit strategy. I said, why? Why do you need an exit strategy? He said, oh man, our business is growing. We're doing some things right now. We're not quite sure where we want to go with this. I said, excellent. Even though this strategy should have been developed when you started the business, but I say, hey, no problem. Let's do this thing. So very excited that they saw the need to have an exit strategy.
Well, I'm impressed.
Oh yeah.
But I do want you to know this: when you refer, or someone has attended one of your workshops or classes, and then they come over to me, or they however they migrate over to me, over to me, right?
Yes.
They're saying, I said, so how can I help you? And how did you hear about me? Gilbert told me that I had to see you. I couldn't do another thing until I saw you.
I love it. I love it.
So they are hearing you.
That's good.
The conversation. Gilbert said, and Gilbert said,
and Gilbert I love it.
Yes, they are hearing you, my friend.
I love it. I love it. I want to make sure they know the 2 point of contact within the circle of resources that they can access, because they come to me, but they got to look at the financial piece too, because that's the lifeblood of their business.
Right. Exactly.
Oh yes. I'm glad they're listening and coming to you.
Yeah, they're coming to you, and they have much respect for you, my brother. Much respect.
So do you. They respect you too, man. So that's why we're hitting them with the 1-2 punch, baby.
So that's cool. So now that I got that out the way, my week was just, I wrapped up, tax day was on Monday.
Oh man, you must have been pulling out your hair, huh?
Well, not so bad. Whatever didn't happen. When it gets down to the last week, or really the first week of April, I already start telling people, just reach out to your tax person and ask for an extension, because I'm not turning upside down for you, because we didn't have X amount of time. I started with you back in December, and here it is, April. And so just go file an extension, and we'll continue to work on it. But I got everyone done.
Right.
My client that's going public, we should be hearing some good news very soon. I've done that. And so now I just got my last little few nonprofits that are getting ready for their tax day in May, May 15th. Yeah. And then I can really then come back and start working on one, I want to at least get the outline for a book.
Yeah, yeah,
That's my goal this year, is
yeah,
an outline for a book.
yeah,
And then my create my online course. So I have my person that's going to help me do that
yeah.
on hold right now. And then the other part, that was pretty much it. Oh, other than the fact that I think I've told you my niece is having a baby, but she lives in Egypt.
Oh,
And
yes, yes,
so
yes, yes.
so we've been kind of figuring out when, because she wants me to come. So I'm probably be going to Egypt at the end of the last week in July, or really the first week of August. So I will be in
Oh,
Egypt
okay.
for her birthday. So
That
that's
sounds that
for her
sounds
birthday,
like a
her baby.
great trip for you, co-host. That sounds like a
Yeah,
very good trip.
yeah, going to the originator,
So
originator
here's
land.
the deal. Here's the deal. When you go to Egypt, you
Uh-huh.
want to find out who those economic development agencies and cohorts are, so we can have a relationship. We can have that sister city relationship. You see what I'm saying?
Okay,
That's what I'm talking about, co-host.
we can work on that. We'll work
That's
on
it.
that. In between being there when she has
Our baby.
my great niece. So that was pretty much my week. It's usually event, and then we had a great show yesterday on the community briefing.
Oh, yes, yes. How did that
We
go?
had Brenda Ross Doolin
Uh-huh.
on. You know, she used to live here in Los Angeles, and I call her the super banker. She came out of Wells Fargo, and she relocated back to her hometown, which is New York. And so
Oh.
now she's retired from. She's exited from the banking world, and she is
Mm-hmm.
now a strategic consultant.
Mm-hmm.
So good conversation and good advice she offered to small businesses on creating their trajectory for the future post pandemic, and
Did
looking at
did
things.
she say anything about lines of credit for these small businesses?
Not really lines of credit. She was just telling people not to be so myopic in their
Yeah.
business, to think
Right.
bigger, broader. Get it, and consultants will
Yeah.
help you move your needle of your business,
I like it.
and it's so vitally important
Yeah.
for you to have a consultant.
I get you. I get you. Our unofficial third co-host, Greg, has to leave. He said
All right, Greg,
called
we
himself
see
the
you.
business. He calls himself the business zone court jester. Said
we
he has to head out right now. So
All right, Greg, we'll see you. I'll see you next Thursday. All righty, guys. So the time has come to meet our guests, and we are excited. So with that, I am going to bring him on and make some readjustments here so that he is going to be on the top, and you and I, Gilbert, are going to be on the bottom here. There we
that's
go.
good. That's good.
Hello, Chris. How are you?
I am well, family. How are you?
Mr.
I
Chris
am.
Horton, welcome to the business zone, sir.
Thank you, sir. How about yourself? How you been, my friend?
Oh man, I've been good. You know, when I can help a small business on any given day, that's a good day for me.
I hear you, brother. When my alarm clock goes off in the morning, I know that same feeling.
That's right. That's right. It's off to help the small business.
Right.
As a small business paramedic. So let
That's
me tell you
right.
guys a little bit about Chris and his background. He's a career financial professional with a demonstrated history of working in business credit and lending, business banking services, commercial real estate acquisitions, business financial planning, credit restoration, and debt consolidation. He's a former VP of membership and sales with San Juan Silicon Valley Chamber of Commerce. He's a former president and CEO of the Santa Clara Chamber of Commerce, and he's a graduate of Western Association of Chamber Executives class of 2019. The man is deeply involved as we are.
Oh wow. So do you think, Chris, do you know Selena over there in Santa Clarita?
I do.
You know her.
I do know.
That's our girl, man.
Oh,
that's
nice.
our girl.
Nice.
Yeah.
All world, right?
We had her on the show, and you know, she's running for city council, and we were behind her. We're rooting for her all the
Right.
way. So we would love to have her become that next city council member, because we can do some great things together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the voting is real serious this year. Really,
Yeah.
I mean, not that it isn't every other year, but I was looking at the ballot this year, and I was noticing that for governor of the state of California, there's 14 Republicans running.
So the governorship is up for voting this year?
Oh yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah, everything is up for voting this and all kinds of things. So
yeah, I thought that what they call it, like an emergency the recall election they had. Yeah. I thought I was going to give him another 2 years or something.
Oh no, that's why it didn't really make sense, because he was up for re-election this year. So it was a lot wasted money, if you ask me.
Wow.
But Chris is here today because he's here for a project that I think you implemented, right? The Inclusivity Project with the American SBDC. And so from Northern California, but Chris kind of gets around the whole entire state. Literally.
I hear that, man. I hear that. Well, tell us about your project there, Chris.
Yeah, I was just going to comment. Crystal and I have probably had 3 or 4 conversations at 3 or 4 different airports that I was like, off my rental car and calling Crystal real quick on my way to the ticket.
That's amazing.
But you know, and just real quick, you know, I want to say thank you for the work that you two do, and the resources that you bring to our community, because it's much needed. You know, the work that we need to do, the support that our community needs. We need, you know, more folks like you two in the game and supporting, you know, Black and African American entrepreneurs. But yeah, the Inclusivity Project, it's an initiative of the SBDC, Northern California SBDC is the birthplace. It came out of the experience that we were having in supporting all businesses during this pandemic that were seeking the EIDL from SBA, then the PPP from their financial institutions. And one of the first things that really sparked my interest in saying, hey, we need to be more relevant and present was that there was a census report that I had obtained from UC Santa Cruz. And it said that at the beginning of February, at the beginning of the pandemic, there were more than 1 million Black and African American businesses across the country. Now, you can go to different places that use different filters and can come up with different numbers of how many Black and African American businesses, but I'm just going to use this census because it was the one that worked and motivated and inspired me. So you have February of the pandemic, and then in 2 months, in April, we had lost 440,000 Black and African American businesses.
Wow.
Every time I put that stat out there, I ask people to stay in this space with me for a quick second. You have 1 million and you lost 440,000.
So that's like 40%.
41%. So imagine this. If the business had just one owner operator, no employees, just one owner operator, a mini micro business, that's 440,000 households that have financial uncertainty right now.
That's true.
Now imagine if they had one employee. So you got the owner operator, and one employee. You're talking about nearly 1 million Black and African American households that have financial uncertainty. And the last thing I tell you to throw in there, imagine if any of them had kids, how those kids' lives had now been disrupted because of the pandemic. And the reason why it was disheartening to me is because America's SBDC, we cover every county in the country, and our services are completely free. And we are the feet on the street for SBA, who's giving out the disaster relief assistance. So it just made no sense to me. I called Washington, D.C., and not really Washington, D.C., but I reached out to my director, Scott, and we did have a conversation with America's SBDC in Washington. And what I questioned was, how could that be that 440,000 Black and African American businesses did not know to go to their SBDC to get help with SBA, who we are their technical assistance providers. That's when I raised my hand and said, hey, Scott, we got to do something about this, man. We got to get in the game. We got to be relevant. We got to be out there. And so we went to our executive director, Kristen, and she embraced it. She said, put something together. I'll take it to our advisory board. So I put together, that every Black and African-American entrepreneur has been major contributors to this country. And so what we need to do is to help support Black and African-American entrepreneurs, Black female entrepreneurs, Black veteran entrepreneurs by bringing awareness of what tools and resources are out there to support their endeavor. It became personal for me in 2020. In October, my brother passed away. November, my brother-in-law passed away. December, my aunt passed away. And all three of those losses, my family struggled pulling money together to pay for their funeral services.
Yes.
And it made me ask the question, are we Black and African Americans living paycheck to paycheck? Yeah. Do we not have a reserve account when life events like this happen? Do we not have life insurance in place when we lose a family member, so we're not burdened with that? That further, amplified my desire to do something in the Black and African American community. And I found that this vehicle, the SBDC, is a perfect place to do that, to support entrepreneurship, because supporting entrepreneurship and having thriving, prosperous Black enterprises, it does a number of things. One, what it does is it helps to establish financial security, financial stability, and financial freedom, right? And if we can do that, then what happens in our households is mom and dad don't need to work 2 or 3 part-time jobs. Right. Mom and dad can work one job. They can earn a fair wage. They can be home to be parents to our kids. They can teach principles, morals, and values, and not have our kids left to social media, entertainers, and society to teach them. We can instill those values in them. When we do something like that, now we've rebuilt the Black home, the Black community, one small business at a time, right? Yeah. And what happens from there for us is we start to generate wealth. We start to be on the path of leaving a legacy for the next generation. And so that is the core of what we do at the SBDC. It's 2 sides with the Inclusivity Project.
Wow. I hear you, man. This is unbelievable, Chris.
Oh, did it? Thank you.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
It's really what we need to do is raise awareness, create access, and make certain that people have tools, resources, and information to accomplish that quality of life that we're all in pursuit of. So that's what the inclusivity, I can go on and sing this song all day, Gilbert. So I'll pause right there, man.
I hear you, man. I hear you. Now, how do you think we can help to raise a much stronger awareness out there? Because I mean, you've been beating your drum, I've been beating mine, Crystal we're all doing that, but it's like it's not really getting to the ears that need to listen to it and make something happen. So how do you think we can do this? I mean, do we do it collectively? How do we do it?
Yeah, definitely. I believe in collectively. I want to be looked at as a convener. Right? I don't need to be operating in my own silo, because collectively and together, we can accomplish a lot more together. I can only be in so many places. So when, you look at things like, looking at our Black chambers of commerce, looking at the Black Pastors Association, because they are trusted in the Black and African-American community, being able to go and speak on those platforms and let folks know that what's out here, leveraging partnerships like, the partnerships with you here, right? Leveraging the SBDC. The SBDC, what's unique about the SBDC, or not unique, what's interesting is that the SBDC does not have a budget to promote what it is that we do. Now, imagine this here. I tell people this all the time. When I was a kid, I grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana, and then my grandparents adopted me and we moved to Galveston Island, which is south of Houston, Texas. Yeah. There was no Black SBDC people coming into Magnolia Home projects.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we actually have to go out. We have to go to the Black establishments. We have to go to the Black beauty salon, the Black barbershops, the soul food restaurants. We have to go there and let folks know, and then encourage them to let folks know in their circle. That's how we have to do it.
Right, right. And I think that's so amazing, Chris, because the way that a lot of us get access to resources is like one person tell the other person. It's like Crystal tells me something, I tell you, you tell, and then that's how it's passed on. It's not like there is a megaphone where people say, hey, you guys, here's what we have to offer. Here's what you need to do in order to participate and receive benefits. It's like
Right.
that wasn't there. Was non-existent. So now we're taking a different approach, which is amazing. And but you don't know how much I feel very good to hear what you're saying right now, because this is Crystal and I. This is what we've been doing all these years. We've been on this program now for 6 years, Chris. 6 years. So, and that's what we've been doing since day one, even before that, way before that.
Yeah,
so
because we did our workshops and classes. But I think, just as Chris said, the pandemic opened up our eyes, and now I think all of us are being much more intentional, not to, and we are in such a space, right? Because we feel as the Black community, even those of us that can help the Black community, we sometimes feel uncomfortable saying we're helping just the Black community, right? We have to kind of like gloss it over and say people of color and all that kind of stuff. And not to say we're excluding anyone, but we were paying special attention to this particular grouping of people, because when you look at the scale and the ladder, everyone is up here and we're down here way below the bottom. We're in the sub basement.
Right.
Most in need, most to benefit. That's what
and
it
most
is.
to benefit. So now we're being intentional, and the world is not faulting us for being intentional because of George Floyd, because of really George Floyd. And the pandemic didn't really have much to do with it at all. It was really about George Floyd. And so everybody's eyes opened up and they saw what the need was. So I definitely commend you on getting on the phone and calling somebody and saying, hey, we got to do better.
Right. That number 440,000 is a number that I know of also, Chris. And Crystal and I, we were talking about that number, since since July of 2020, because that's when that number was released, and we've been talking about that. We were shocked. But then we know economically the way the landscape is set up, it's not really set up to help us, through all these redlining and all these other strategies that they're using. We know they use those to try to keep us at the bottom and keep us quiet. So it's people like us who need to start making noise, and so they can start listening a little bit and do something.
Absolutely.
So we can carry on. So exactly how do you execute the can't get the word out.
Inclusivity
project.
Right.
Yeah. And the easy way to think of us is, you're absolutely right, Crystal. We are inclusive. We want, and the reason why that was important is because we want to be included. Black and African Americans want to be included. We want to be at that table. We want to be invited to that conversation.
Yeah.
We want to be heard, right? And what we do with the Inclusivity Project is we meet the entrepreneur where they are. So folks go to our website. They sign up. There's no cost. There's no commitment. There's no government information sharing or anything like that. We do a client intake where we just want to get to know you. Where are you? Are you a startup? Are you an existing business? What industry are you in? What challenges are you facing? And I know before the show, Crystal, you and I were talking, but I want to share with everyone else. The Inclusivity Project is a challenge. It's a challenge of, we are challenging the system, because it came about addressing institutional and systemic barriers that Black and African Americans face. I have no shame saying I am focused on and intentionally looking to assist Black and African Americans. It's inclusive, because at the end of the day, when you close your eyes, Irregardless of your skin tone, you're a human being. You have a quality of life. You have challenges. You have goals. You have dreams. You have aspirations. So it's inclusive. But my intentional efforts, if I get in my car, I'm going to drive to a Black establishment. And if I happen to run into someone from another ethnic group or race or culture, absolutely, we're going to help you. My intentional efforts, though, is where the media and society have told us there is a great need, and that's the Black and African American community. So what we look at is we look at, are you a pre-venture? Meaning that you have not launched your business yet. So we want to embrace you, bring you into a cohort, get you some foundational training, understanding what does it mean to be an entrepreneur. What's the ideal business structure for you? Do some market analysis. Make certain you understand financials, how to run a business, your bookkeeping. So we're gonna create that basic foundation for a new entrepreneur. Then we have our second track, which is a startup or early stage business. So you either just started or you're less than 2 years of existence. We have a training cohort for you, Business 101, and put you through, where you are today, what industry you're in, making certain that you have the best practices, policies, procedures, and protocol put in place. We want to make certain that, folks, the early stage businesses don't fail within the first 3 to 5 years. Then we have our existing businesses. Many of our existing businesses are in a mature state. They've been in business. They got their repeat businesses. Many of them are looking for opportunities to grow and expand. So let's engage in a meaningful conversation. What does that look like? Does that mean you want to add new products? You want to expand the territory that you're providing your product or service to? Do you want to go global, international? Do you want to be throughout the country? So let's identify that. Let's put a game plan together and let's execute on that game plan. So that's really how we embrace. Now, the cool thing that's really unique about the Inclusivity Project, that's on your business side. Now let's talk about your personal aspirations. We engage in a personal conversation about debt management. We engage in a conversation about credit restoration. We have organizations that can help you with debt management. Let's get to the basics. Understanding, live by a budget. Understand the difference between your needs and your wants, and making psychological decisions that change the generational cycle that we're always going to be in the hole, or we're always just going to live paycheck to paycheck. Let's create this financial intelligence and literacy like Greg was talking about. That's what we're doing. Are you renting? Do you have any desire of being a homeowner and getting into that American dream of home ownership? We have the Mortgage Brokers Association. We have mortgage bankers that we work with, that we can talk to you, find out where you are. What do you need to do to get on track? To have your down payment, to get down payment assistance that your county may be offering you. We do that work as well. We get into the nitty gritty about, do you have kids that you have aspirations of a higher education? Okay, we have a college planning program to help you engage in what is it going to take? How can you put $20, $30, $50 away towards a college plan so that your kid does not have to go to college, take out student loans, and end up in debt when they come out of college? So we are going to look at you both professionally, and then we're going to look at you personally, and we're going to provide you with community resources to help you accomplish those things that are most important to you.
So, Chris, how do you fund this type of activity through the SBDC, that they don't really have a budget, they don't have funding to fund these types of activities?
Sure. So we're partially funded through SBA out of Washington, D.C. So taxpayer dollars is allocated by SBA to fund the SBDCs across the country. So NorCal SBDC funded the Inclusivity Project, and then we've partnered with, and then we get funding also from the California Office of Small Business Advocate. We have a program that's called TAPE, Technical Assistance Expansion Program. So we get funding from there. And then we have financial public partnerships, Wells Fargo, Chase, Citibank, PayPal. So we have financial organizations. We're working with corporations now that can sponsor us as well.
That's pretty awesome.
Crystal, how do you see you and I on the Business Zone helping Chris to achieve these objectives?
Well, I think one of the things he said was the outreach, making sure
Right.
that people know that this is available to them. Because I like the fact that it's not just business. Because a lot of times in our households or anybody's household, if you don't have an understanding of business financial literacy, mainly because you don't have an understanding of personal financial literacy,
Right.
so you kind of have to work hand in hand. So I like that you're embracing both and understanding just because they have a successful business does not mean they're going to be successful at home. And
Right.
then extending that to the family. Because if I'm not worried about my kids, I can really focus and put my energies into my business. So I think
Absolutely.
that's one way from the Business Zone standpoint, being able to do that outreach and show the world through media. Because I personally think when I came to Gilbert and I was the birthing of the Business Zone and also the birthing of the community briefing is uh, I had read Dr. Claude Anderson had indicated he'd given us the 10 steps of how we can overcome where we are, right? And number 5 on that list was media,
Mm.
being able to narrate your own story, tell your people in a medium that they understand what is out there and bring that information to them firsthand so that when they
Mhm.
get it, it's not too late. It's not already happening. It hasn't happened and you have time enough in order to get involved and participate and register. So I think from a media aspect, that would be I believe, a valuable asset to you guys.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Chris, are you just in Northern California, or is this the entire state of California?
Yeah, definitely. Great question. It's definitely the entire state of California. We have champions in the other 4 regions. So you have Northern California region, you have Central California region, you have the Los Angeles region, you have the Orange County region, and then you have a San Diego region. So we have a champion in each region that helps to facilitate the mission of the Inclusivity Project. It's also at the national level as well. The national level, we did a spinoff. So we trademarked Inclusivity Project specifically for California, Black and African American, but we did a spinoff and we called it the Inclusivity Challenge at the national level, because across the country, there are communities where we have an SBDC that serves that area, but the community doesn't look like us. And so we want it, again, to be inclusive. So, you got the LGBTQ community, you got the Asian community, you got the Hispanic, Latinx community, the Asian the Pacific Islanders, the Asian community as well. So wherever you are, again, human beings have a quality of life that we're all in pursuit of. Mm-hmm. Human beings have life challenges, and we know that small business is the backbone of this country, and we know this pandemic has motivated and encouraged a lot of folks to want to start their own business, so that they are pivoting, as you said, and being resilient, that the next time this happens, they are in control of their own destiny because they own their entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who is your contact in Los Angeles, Chris?
Yeah, so that would be Pat Nye. He's the state director for the Los Angeles region.
Now, where exactly in Los Angeles is he based out of?
I think LA, I want to say Long Beach City College.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Well, I don't think I've ever met him.
Right. I think, Chris, if you can do an introduction of him to Crystal and I think we can team up and we can do something great here.
Perfect.
Yeah, because I think what you guys are doing is absolutely amazing. Now, Gilbert, I participated in the Black History Month event Chris invited me to, and he had these most amazing businesses and they did a pitch competition. So can you tell me how that came about, Chris, and what are the coordinates to that?
I wanted to put together some signature events, right, to highlight our entrepreneurs, our founders, our creatives, right. And so one of the ways some of the advisors that I work, or advisory folks that I work with, said, hey, we should put on, a summit where we can, bring valuable resources or speakers together so that it gives, again, awareness and access to folks that many Black and African Americans may not ever have access to. And so we thought about bringing on a keynote speaker, and then we started thinking about, okay, well, let's start to look at ways where some small businesses would be able to have a pitch competition where they can get some feedback on their product or their service, and have an opportunity to be amongst other peers. So that's how we came about that. So Juneteenth of last year, we did our first global summit. We had one of the only Black female venture capitalists in the world, Cheryl Conte, as our keynote speaker. And then we invited I think we had 6 other, what am I thinking? Oh, judges, venture capitalists that was our judging panel. So Cheryl Conte, she talked about generational wealth. And then we had an open dialogue with the panel and Cheryl Conte and the audience. And then we pivoted in the second half. And in the second half, we had a pitch competition. We opened it up to the community. We invited folks to apply to pitch and tell us about their product or their service. We have a selection committee. So we take all the applicants in, we divide them up amongst our selection committee. We have a scoring system that we use on a scale of 1 to 5. There's multiple questions that, the applicants will answer. And based on their answer, the selection committee will then rate them on a scale of 1 to 5. And we choose the 5 highest scores that we receive. We then have a pitch competition. We gave them, when it first started, we gave 3 minutes and then 5 minutes Q&A. We did our next pitch competition was in October for Black Entrepreneurs Day. And then we did one during Black History Month. And that's what we're going to do on an annual basis. Juneteenth, Black Entrepreneurs Day, and Black History Month. And then folks will apply. We'll choose, we'll put on a competition and highlight, the creative work that many of us Black and African American entrepreneurs can do.
So, Chris, at that event, when they do the contest, the pitch contest, after that, do you match them up with contract providers or with the investors, or how do you do it?
Well, it really depends on the investors, right? We have to respect the relationships, because everyone's not going to fit for every investor. Now, I'm fortunate enough, or not me, the Inclusivity Project is fortunate enough that all of our pitch competition participants over the last 3 have all been, there was an investor that was interested in them and wanted to connect with them afterwards. So that's really how that works, that if there's an investor that wants to talk one-off with one of these because they see opportunities, we definitely make that connection afterwards.
Good. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm going to share some of the businesses. Now, I was in the one for Black History Month. Yep. And so I was so impressed with the caliber of businesses and how much work that they had put into it. So this is one of the ones I remember, I think it's getting ready to share right now, was a wine company.
Oh, yeah.
And this, was he from Africa?
He was. Yep. He's originally from Africa. Yep.
Okay, and look how beautiful that is, and the way he spoke and the way they pitched their business. So this was one of them I was very impressed with. And then there was another young lady. Wasn't there one that had something to do with diabetes?
Yeah, Charlotta. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Lena AI is the company, and Charlotta Carta is the founder of that company, and it's exactly that. She lost her mom and she lost her aunt to diabetes, and then she was diagnosed with diabetes, which is what encouraged her to create a Lena AI to be able to help folks be able to address their diabetes concerns.
Yeah, just that's so impressive, Gilbert, when they were giving a presentation, and I think it was another person, the T,
Yep. Yeah, Maya
Naya
T.
T,
Yep.
Naya T.
Yeah,
So
that's
I'm
two
gonna.
ex-football players.
Oh, were there?
Yep.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so, who actually won? I had to leave early. I think I had to leave and come to the show. But
Sure.
who actually won?
So the one that you had up early, Wealthy, Dr. Moria, he actually won, and he was, and with this last one we did was our first time doing it this way. What we did, usually the first two we did, it was just businesses in Northern California, but for Black Month, we opened it up to the entire state. So we had one California, and the business that represented Wealthy from San Diego, Dr. Moria, he won that, and he had Selfie was an app on a phone that you can use for your to be able to communicate with your medical providers.
Yeah, I was just blown away. So now you have one coming up on Juneteenth. So how would what are you looking for, and how would a person register for that? And what are the criteria?
Sure, sure. So the only criteria really is that you are a business here in California. We accept all structures, LLCs, sole proprietors, corporations, partnerships. And that your revenue is under, I think and we may be changing this, but I'll wait on that to put that out there, the revenue piece. But we're looking at the revenue piece, so revenue threshold. You need to have an MVP. You need to have a product. You could definitely got to have a product. The other thing, that opening registration up beginning of May. So I'm looking at May 2nd to having registration open. You can register to just be a participant to hear the keynote speak. We have Jay King. He is the president and CEO of the California Black Chamber of Commerce. He is going to be our keynote speaker for Juneteenth. We're looking to connect, and this may be something you two can help out with. We're looking to connect with the business school or the business department at 5 different universities, to have the business department have a representative be our keynote or be our judging panel for this. So I think that's, but yeah, May 2nd, registration open. You can just be a participant to the keynote and then stay and watch the pitch competition. And if you're interested, there's going to be a separate application you can submit to be considered to pitch in the competition. And that one's going to happen on June 17th.
Is it virtual?
This one,
will it be
this
virtual,
is going to be our first one. The first one that's going to be live. We're going to do one. It's going to be live. We're going to have a max capacity of 150 in person, but it's also going to be virtual at the same time.
Well, Crystal and I would like on the Business Zone to have those folks that she experienced. We'd like to have them as guests on our show. And that could be a relationship that we have where folks who go through your program and get to that point, then their next step would be to be on this show so that they can get some airtime and some exposure.
Right.
And, that might help them to elevate a little faster.
Absolutely. I love that idea. And yeah, I welcome that opportunity, and it'll be something that we can promote as well. That those that participate in the pitch competition will get some visibility and some exposure on the show.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome. So, Chris, having a product. So, is this a product that they have had to create themselves, or?
yeah, however they reached the creation, if they worked with a team, if they did R&D and went out and however you come up with the product, we don't have it. It's not to be restrictive, right? It's to be inclusive. So we're not trying to make this difficult. We're really looking to give folks an opportunity to get in front of some investors, get some feedback from some investors, and if you participate in one pitch competition, it doesn't disqualify you from looking to pitch again. You know what I mean? So just because I had Wolf from Endara, one of the ones you pulled up, he pitched twice. So he pitched once before, and then he got a chance to come back. The thing about
so you can come back and fine tune that, huh?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So now it needs to be a workable, not a prototype, but an actual in its working capacity.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's good, because I a couple of people that I know that are have a working capacity. They already gone through all of their R&D and everything.
Oh, nice.
But definitely could use that exposure. I love what you're doing, and as I said, now. Do you prepare them in the pitch competition so that, because those people were effortless, they were just like
Right. And we haven't thus far. I'm working with Sacramento State with their business school on doing something like that, because they have a program that helps prepare people to get ready for a pitch competition. So I'm talking with them about setting up some sort of cohort that, hey, we get folks that get selected to be in the pitch competition, and then they spend some time with Sacramento State's business school getting ready for the actual pitch competition. So we're working on that.
Oh, okay. That's amazing. I do a summer program that's very similar to this. Although we have kids that from the ages of 12, 13 to 18, and we it's called Biz Camp. So we take them and we help them create an idea, and then help them expand that idea and the feasibility of that idea into a business, and then they pitch. And I do it with an organization called Nifty, Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship, and so they pitch at the end of the 30-day camp that they're in with us. And then from there, whoever the winners are, they can then go on to startup camp with Nifty the following year. And then they can go on to the regionals and to the nationals. And we just had a young lady, she's 16 years old. She created a hair care product called Curly Crowns. And she so impressed with this young lady. She actually pitched on the world stage in New York last week. And she came into the semifinal. She didn't make it to the first, but she was competing with kids from Japan and Mexico and Ireland and India, and just blew us away. And before she came to our camp, she had no product, but now she has a fully making money in her product, and she's 16 years old. She's won close to about $15,000.
And what we also do with that, Chris, once they've been through the BizCamp program, there's a competition, and then once the winners, first, second, and third place winners, usually get booked on the Business Zone. So they come on the show, they speak about their product and services, they speak about their experience in the BizCamp, and of course, who is preparing them? No other than my super duper co-host, consultant, Crystal. So I don't know if Crystal told you about that competition they had, where they had how many? About 600 participants.
Yeah. So our kids. So when they do Nifty, then the next year there's a kind of interim competition called YEC, which is Youth Entrepreneurship Challenge, and it's sponsored by, not currently Union Bank, but Union Bank is about to be bought out by US Bank. So so they pitch there. They're competing for $2,500. And they are competing with somewhere between 16 and 19. Last year it was 19 schools and organizations. And so our kids, so it's about 45 kids that were participating and in the competition, and our kids took all It was first, second, third, and 2 honorable mentions.
Oh, wow.
First, second, third, fourth, fifth, and guess who's responsible for them? No other than Crystal Mitchell.
Yeah, I took them there. Now this year, I told the kids, I said, look, because they're going to be competing next week on the 30th. It's virtual, and I told them, I said, look, guys, we can't come away from 5 places, from taking all 5 places to 0. So I gotta have 1. My children are under so much pressure. I gotta have 1. And so hopefully we're going to be able to get, because and unfortunately we don't have, only 2 of our kids in our class this a cohort can be eligible, because the other ones are already participating with the same business. So they're going to be participating in the regional competition. So I got 2 kids. I got a whole lot of weight. And so I told them next week, oh, y'all are in for it tomorrow. Because y'all got to be on point. One of you 2 little girls.
You got to represent.
Y'all got to represent. So they got a lot of pressure happening tomorrow.
Chris, the other coaches, were so jealous because Crystal took a command of the first 5 places. You know, they hated it.
It shocked me because we're sitting there watching it online, and they call, and in this one we're not behind the scenes, we're not judges, we just sitting like everybody else, right? And so they called up our first one. I went, wow, okay, cool. I kind of assumed that it was going to be her, and then they called up the second one. It's like, wow. Then I called up the third one, and I'm on with my partner going, did they just call all 3 of our kids? And we're texting, and she's like, oh my God. So we are on Zoom. So we had to both take ourselves off screen. So we would show how excited. And when they called the next 4th, and they actually added in the honorable mention because there was 2 kids that it was so close that they just didn't feel like they wanted to eliminate them.
Right.
And then when they called us up, even the everyone from Union Bank, from Nifty, they're like, what the heck just happened? We just swept the whole thing.
I love it. Chris,
so they're happy.
Chris, I love to brag about that story so much. I'm sure you can tell.
I would too. I appreciate that.
I'm sure you can tell, man. Because we work so hard to get the entrepreneurs to where they need to be, man. And when they win these things, that's like payoff. It's like, man, that's the carrot.
Especially the kids, because it's the ground floor.
Right? Yeah.
It's the ground floor for them deciding that entrepreneurship can be their life.
Yeah.
Right. And
instead of working 9 to 5.
Instead of working 9 to 5. I do highly recommend that they do go in and do a internship, so to speak, in corporate world, so they understand in a corporate business, so that they understand what a successful business, how it runs from the inside out.
Right.
So I call that their PhD program. I encourage them. College is important, to take business classes and entrepreneurial studies, and then go work somewhere, preferably in a company that's doing something similar to what you want to start your business. So you really get to see that. And then they come back to us and they work as internships through our summer program. We have an intern right now. She's up in New York, and she's been just a phenomenal helping prepare our kids for their competition. So it's a whole alumni situation, and the kids really connect with her. But it's important, right? So, and they learn how to speak. They learn, sports. One, how to run a business, but also they've increased their abilities, their speaking abilities, and their confidence level just increases so dramatically. But with that being said, we have there's Dr. Polk over at Cal State Dominguez Hills. He's done some judging for us for the Nifty competition. We have one of the directors at LA Trade Tech. She's done some they've all sat as judges on our competition.
Okay then. Okay.
And so we can make those introductions to you if that's what you're looking to do.
Yeah.
And I believe I have some friends. I think there's someone that came from SC last year, but definitely Dominguez Hills and Cal State. And one I think is at Cal State. So if that's I can make those introductions. I'll send you an invitation. We'll be doing our Biz Camp class starting July 5th. So if you'd like to come in, it's virtual and talk to the kids. That would be awesome. I can send you a link over and you could do that and meet the kids. We do 50 kids a summer.
Okay.
And they come in from 9 to 1. And here's the thing. When I first started this program, I was told at that time it was live, right? So I went through to be certified as an educator for entrepreneurship, and they were like, okay, so these kids are going to learn everything they need to know in 10 days. I was like, what? No, they're not. And they're like, yeah, they're going to 10 days. It's proven. It's a proven thing. And I was like, really? And he said, yeah. And so I went through the certification, and sure enough, they started. By day 7, I had stuffed so much information into these little bitty minds, and they're between the ages of 12 and 18. I mean, just crammed it in. Like, this is like supersonic. Just open up their brains and pour the stuff in, and hopefully that it comes out then they get up and then day 7 through 10 day 10 being the competition day. They stand up on day 10 and they just blow your socks off with the presentation that they give. Little bitty babies. And the first time I did it, I was teaching simultaneously an adult class who some of them had been in my classes like 5-6 times, and we still hadn't gotten a business plan. And so here I am. I've done this in 10 days. And I was like, okay, there is no more mercy for you two people, you grown people. Let me tell you after that, I've been tough.
These kids are phenomenal, man. I watch them pitch their business, and I'm going, none of my adult entrepreneurs are that articulate or present the business in such a concise way. I'm going, this is unbelievable. So I'm telling Crystal and our partner over there, Rhonda, they do good work. Good work.
Yeah, you were a judge last year, weren't you?
Huh?
You were a judge last year, weren't you?
Yes, I was a judge. That's why I'm saying that what I saw them present, man, I was so impressed. They're talking about things like gross domestic product. They're talking about COGS, cost of goods sold.
Yeah.
They're talking about contribution margins. I'm going, oh man, this is amazing. I love it. I love it.
But the startup summer, I taught for startup summer this year, and they were taking their concepts and doing an MVP hypothesis on them and coming back with new theories.
Wow.
Using Eric Rice's book, Lean. Was it
Lean
Model?
The lean business model approach.
Business model.
Canvas.
So
yeah,
that's the template that they used.
They
had to take and keep proving. They had to prove their business and services and concepts and business model would work, and they had to do it in 4 different scenarios.
Yeah. Wow. I love it.
And that's graduate level.
Oh,
stuff.
Yes, that is graduate level.
They're middle school.
I love it.
So it's just amazing. So but this is my passion. It's just I love that part of it. I love watching businesses or being there as they're going through that creation mode,
right,
and then building these amazing new products. And that's why I was so impressed with what your contestants did, because that was just a phenomenal. I mean, and you guys, they weren't live, Gilbert. They had to put together a presentation.
Wow.
And it was incredible the way they did it.
That's great. Now we know about the competition aspect, Chris. Now we're just trying to figure out, because I know Crystal and we provide some services here, which is very unique. You know, we know a lot of consultants, and a lot of consultants don't do what we do. So I'm wondering how we could work together with your SBDC organization to help these entrepreneurs next level style, because there are things we haven't talked about yet. You know, we've got platforms that can help them with assessments and help them with their back office and all of that. So we just like for us to, you know, have another conversation about this where we can really look at ways that we can team up to really help these businesses. Because the businesses you mentioned, man, that got dropped out in that 41%, we don't want to see that happening again. So we got to make sure that we get their back office set up, we get them business ready, get them financial ready, cash flow management ready, and even grant ready. You know,
right. Yeah, I welcome that conversation. You know, always looking to continue building the community of resources. Taking a look at what it is that we do at the SBDC and how do we find synergy with what you and Crystal are doing. So, you know, where does that fit? You know, is it the business? Is it all of them? And so I welcome that opportunity for us to coordinate a conversation to talk about that, because I'm definitely open to it and I welcome it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's fantastic. Sure. Yeah, Chris, you know, you're just awesome. And Chris sought me out. He came to the community briefing and he reached out to me, and so we started communicating, and so this is where we are today. And I just love this energy. And when he told me about his project, I was so impressed. And like I said, it was intentional, and that's where we have to be today. Very intentional. We not only we don't want to see us lose 400 businesses. We cannot afford to lose 400 businesses.
400,000.
400,000 businesses. But where we need to be is for our businesses to no longer be solo entities, but being able to hire and have, you know, 5 to 10 to 15 to 20 employees. So that's our next goal, because that's what changes their economic status. And then Gilbert's area is certification and procurement. And then we need them to be prepared that when these opportunities come, no matter what those opportunities are, be able to activate like that, right? Not have to go, okay, I got to go get this. I got to go get this. Because by that time, the opportunity is over.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I agree.
And Chris, you had everything, right? And you had an idea. You saw a problem. And you had you could immediately come back with your resources and create a solution. And you obviously activated it and launched it like that.
So, Chris, what was it? What was it that made you reach out to Crystal?
You know, I think it was the title of the show that time that I was interested in, and I think it had come across my email. My executive assistant said, "Hey, is this something you would be interested in?" Recycling black dollars catch my attention. Like, okay, what is that all about, right? And then I think it was the actual subject. The subject of, when I looked at recycling black dollars, and then I looked at what the content was going to be. And I think it was the real estate investor, wasn't it, Crystal? Didn't you have a real estate investor?
Yeah. Either Michael Banner or Michael Miller, one of the two.
On the briefing or the business zone? Which one was
it? On the briefing.
On the briefing.
Oh,
on the briefing.
Yeah.
So that's
Go ahead.
I think he was invited to. He received it because I think Constance from Lindustry was coming on. I had been on, and I think he came on, and then he asked Greg. He reached out to Greg and asked how could he reach to me, and then we got to talking, and finding that we had a lot in common based upon that. But yeah, recycling black dollars. is an organization that was started 33 years ago for that purpose, to make sure, because Gilbert gets a kick out of this,
I
but he
was
don't
just
really get a
gonna
kick
say that.
when he first met me and he was asking about recycling black dollars, and I always come in, it's like, do you know how long the dollar stays in the community? And when I told him 6 hours, he's like, oh my God.
That is pitiful.
It is, right? Right?
Man, we gotta work on that, man. And we're at the bottom of the totem pole too, because
Yeah.
everybody else, their dollar lasts longer except ours.
Exactly.
So we gotta get out there, man. And that's why I think this synergy between us is gonna be great in this relationship, because you're prepping your entrepreneurs there, and we've got some other things based on our experience that we can add to that mix as well, because they are experiencing that in their community too. I know it.
Right.
Their dollars, stay 6 hours and that's it. They don't see it again. It goes bye-bye, like Mr. Wonderful.
Well, that's why I like teaching children, because that's the first thing I talk about when I first start the class, is about the black dollar and how long it stays in the community. And as I lay it out to them, and they're in like, what? And I mean, these are kids going, what? How can that be? And I said, because most of us work for someone else.
Yeah.
So you get your paycheck. That 6 hours is literally from the time you get your paycheck, you leave your job, you go to the white bank, put your dollars in the white bank, it starts there. Then you go to the white supermarket, you go to the white cleaners, you go to the white mall, and nowhere in there did you go, wait, was there a black bank? Was there a black cleaners? Was there a black supermarket? Was there someone that was black that I could have gave my dollars to?
And that's when your black dollars go bye-bye.
So I know we only 13% of the population, but somewhere you run across some black people.
Right. It's interesting that you say that. I was my dad passed away. Let me say it's been 3 years. 3 years now. And my dad was buried in Beaumont, Texas, Port Arthur, Texas. He lived in Beaumont, but he was buried in Port Arthur, Texas. And when we were there at the funeral, the pastor stood up in the eulogy, and what he was talking about wasn't about my dad and how he contributed and who he was and his kids and stuff. He really talked about that community, that city of Port Arthur, and he said, there's a Mexican food restaurant. There's a Chinese restaurant. The nail salons are Asian people in the nail salons. There are no Black-owned businesses in this city.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was just mind-boggling. Like, really? Like,
you don't even like, how could that possibly be? How can that be possible in this day and age?
And it's a predominantly Black community.
That's what I'm saying. That's
exactly
what I'm saying.
How can Killer Mike did that? He was in Atlanta. He's in, Killer Mike's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
He actually drove all through Atlanta looking for Black-owned business outside of Atlanta, because Atlanta has a large population of Black businesses. But when you come out of Atlanta and go into the more suburban areas of the other cities, not a lot. There are Black people there, but not a lot of businesses. So he went on the hunt for Black businesses, and which is amazing, because the South, when they came out of slavery, that was the only thing they could do, was create their own Black businesses. So you have billionaires that were created because they had their own captive audience of customers that looked like them during that time. And they were able to create wealth. That's what Black Wall Street was about. But all of a sudden, we just all disappeared. And when we do have Black businesses, we skip over them. There was an entrepreneur here, business owner. He died a couple years ago. Mr. Gar. Mr. Gar was 101 years old, owned the whole block of where his first business was started. He owned that whole entire block. And he used to tell us, he said, when I first started, I had a grocery store, and my customers would walk past me and go to the store next door to me, and he would go, "Hey, why are you guys not coming in here? I have ice if that's what you're buying."
Right.
And they said to him, his ice is colder than your ice.
Oh,
He said that's
the
other
white man's ice is
ice
colder
is
than
colder. He
oh
said
my
that's utterly
goodness.
impossible because we buy our ice at the same
same
place
place.
at the same time every single day. That's impossible.
That is a mindset right
It is
there,
a
man.
mindset.
That's the Willie Lynch mindset,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and see, we've been trying to to eradicate a lot of that thinking, and we still see a lot of that, because even last week we had a guest on, Chris, and she is a lady who she makes her own product, and she's got these great products she make, like bags, t-shirts, sweatpants, and she's got this nice logo on it. To me, it's better than Tommy Hilfiger and all, and Gucci and all of those. But you would never see one of us buying her product. They go to Gucci and Tommy Hilfiger because their ice is colder. You see what I'm saying? And it's just ridiculous, man. It's just and we see a lot of celebrities do that. Some of the big celebrities wearing Gucci and Tommy Hilfiger and
Of
all of
course.
that.
Of course, of course.
When you got our own entrepreneurs, struggling to get their product on the market that they could at least promote.
Yep. You would think so.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Well, I think that at least between the three of us, we're all on the right pathway, and
Yes.
in helping our businesses get out there. And I think being able, and the other component, they can get the businesses started, but getting the exposure is difficult for them. Marketing is usually the last thing they think about. But so being that word of mouth, making sure that those businesses really becoming those ambassadors for those businesses.
Yep.
Now, to really help them get out there and get their product out there, so it will catch on and people will buy from them. So that's our quest in life.
Yep.
But Chris, you've been awesome. We want to thank you so much, and we look forward to working together.
Phenomenal.
And again, I just thank you for being intentional, not just thinking the thought, but actually taking an action, picking up a phone and calling someone and say, "Hey, we just lost 400,000 businesses. How the heck could that happen?"
Right.
Because all the rest of us was just talking it. You picked up the phone. And so we commend you for that. We thank you so much for that.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely.
Let us know how we can help.
Will do.
And we are here for you, and we definitely love to have your winners of your competition or your challenge come in here on the Business Zone and talk about their business, and then they can use that as a marketing tool.
Absolutely.
For them,
yeah, I will definitely include that moving forward to be part of the Inclusivity Project's Global Diversity Summit. So definitely we can do that. And I'll ask Tamika to reach out to you, Crystal, and put something on the calendar for you and I and Gilbert to talk about collaborative efforts together.
That would sound
fantastic. I know the SBDC is doing a little something right now with you, but I know they can do more. So we're going to talk about what they can do, how they can do it, and see how we can take this next level. Because I used to manage an SBDC also.
Okay.
And it was just pretty marginal what they do for the entrepreneurs. You see what I'm saying? And I really didn't agree with a lot of what I saw, but hopefully if we galvanize ourselves and knock on their door a little stronger, maybe they'll say, okay, let's give them, another batch of resources that can help them.
Okay. And you got some other partners, some big hitters coming on board as well, right?
Right, we do. Yeah, we're working with a number of different financial institutions. We've gotten an opportunity to participate in the Milken Institute global conference that's coming up next week. And so that's putting us on an international platform. So looking forward to the visibility and the exposure that we're getting from that. And then, like I said, there's some other community partners that we're going to be engaging with that have have really shown some supportive interest to support the Inclusivity Project. And, you know, when we have these conversations, we continue to evolve what it is we're doing, why we're doing it. And I think that's the focal point, is why are we doing it? It's because the Black and African American community needs it. And so that's why we're doing this here.
And that's just as simple. That's just that, and that's why we all do what we do, because we need it.
Absolutely.
We happen to be that baby that needs that extra attention right now.
Yes, we do.
We're, as a girlfriend of mine says, we the middle child. We need a lot of attention right now. Chris, it's been awesome. We want to thank you so much for being a guest. I will make sure that you get a copy of the video so you can, you know, put it on your sites and so forth. It's been, thank you for sharing.
Absolutely. Thank you too as well.
Your project with us. And let's see. Crystal, how exciting to hear about your students winning all the competitions. Super testimony that we can. That's from V's Wearable Attire.
That's right. So
we want to thank you. Guys, another week, and I guess next week is our last day of financial literacy capability. So next week, Gilbert and I will do the part 3 of our financial literacy class session. So tune in next week, and then Monday. I don't know what's happening in May, other than Mother's Day, but I'm sure it's a celebration of some event.
May we're going to have a lot of entrepreneurs on the program, a lot of them from my SBA Navigator program. They're going to be guests on the program talking about their small business, their product and services. So that's going to be a good thing. I'm looking forward to that. I've got one gentleman who runs a funeral home, is a mortuary. And he just can't wait to get on here. I'm trying to connect him with the County of Los Angeles, the coroner's office, so that he can try to do some business with them and perhaps get a contract, because this is COVID. People are dying. They need his services. The county can't do it by themselves. You see what I'm saying? So, go ahead.
Yeah, you know, years ago, I helped a client write a business plan. I actually wrote the business plan for the mortuary business, and when I came back, I mean, because it's changed, right? It's, you know, it's changed. People don't have life insurance and things like that, where they can actually pay $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. So they're going more with the cremation, which is you know, more affordable for them to collect. But there are other resources and other revenue streams that they don't ever think about. So it was pretty interesting. So May, we got a great lineup happening. My birthday is in May. I kicked the month
So we got to do something very special for you, co-host.
So May is a fantastic month in my world.
and from my side, it's not going to include any hot air balloons. Okay, so we're not putting you in any one of those, because I've seen over the last 2 weeks, I've seen a lot of accidents. So we're not going to put you there. I can't afford to lose you right now. We need you.
My girlfriend, for her birthday, she had she wanted to do a hot air balloon. That was on her bucket list. So we went out to Temecula and we did a hot air balloon ride. It was actually awesome. I had a good time, but I'm not doing that. Vanessa, my birthday is May 1st.
May Day. That's May Day.
May Day, So May 1st is not this Sunday. The following Sunday is my birthday. So thank you so much, Chris.
Man, you have been amazing, man. What you said, when you started out, it brings music to my ear, because Crystal and I, we've been beating that drum, and we haven't really heard anyone, saying what we're saying. So you're the first person who come along that is speaking our language, and it's highly accepted. So
absolutely. Well, let's keep doing this, and we're on a mission, and we're on a mission together. So I'm glad to be in good company with you too.
That's good.
So we are too. So with that, Gilbert, we're ready to sign off?
Yes, we are. So for you folks who've been listening to this wonderful program with our honorable guest, Mr. Chris Horton, my co-host Crystal Mitchell, and I, Coach Gilbert Buchanan, the small business paramedic, we want to invite you back next Friday from 3 to 4. And we're going to have another fabulous show for you. And we're looking forward to have you on our show. If you're an entrepreneur, business owner, a micro business, you want to promote your business, you want to promote your product or service, please give us a call here, or you can email us. My number is 888-882-1168. That's 888-882-1168. And I'm going to try to regurgitate my co-host's number. Her number is 213. Is that correct? 213?
Yes.
And
458
458-5952. And that's Coach Crystal Mitchell. And anything financial, she can take care of that for you guys. Anything procurement, contracts, certification, setting up your back office and managing your back office, running your infrastructure, that's me. And of course, our very special guest, Mr. Chris Horton, he's running a program called Project Inclusivity, and this is in the Northern California area. He's working with SBDCs. He's doing great things to help small and minority businesses, especially those Black businesses who had to close their doors back in July of 2020. We want to get them opening those doors again. So,
all righty, and he has a challenge that you guys can submit to for Juneteenth, and be able to do it's a pitch competition. So anyone that has a product and it's ready to go, then you want to reach out to the Inclusivity Project. The website is, you want to put it in the chat?
It's let me put it in there real quick. So you just go to there you go.
The inclusivityproject.com. The inclusivityproject.com, guys. I'll put it in so you guys can, check it out. The Inclusivity. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
There it is, guys.
So you guys reach out to him. In fact, somebody, when I posted, Chris, when I posted your flyer, somebody was already looking to wanting to reach out to you, so I sent them over.
Okay, good stuff.
So I'll make sure that I go back to him, make sure he gets. I don't know if he saw the show, but I'll make sure he does. But he's interested, so he obviously knew who you were.
Okay, good.
He was looking for you. So, all righty then, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, Vanessa and Chris, Vanessa and Greg and Dr. Brasfield and everyone else that's tuned in. We want to thank you guys so much. Please come back next week. Go to our YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button so you will get notification that we are coming on, and we come on every Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock. So don't miss us.
Tune in.
All right, great.
As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.